This is a Sandy Boy Productions podcast. Hey everybody, welcome to I'll Have Another podcast with Lindsay Hine. I'm your host, Lindsay. Thanks so much for being here today. Today on the podcast, I am excited to share this conversation with American record holder, Weini Kelati. She just ran 66:09, breaking her own American record in the half marathon in Houston. She placed second in that race. She is a dominant force in distance running, and wow, can you even believe when she ends up towing the line for her first marathon? So many exciting things to be excited about in her career and future. She was the 10,000 meter champion at the Olympic trials last summer. She placed 8th in Paris in the 10,000. She runs with Under Armour, and Stephen Haas is her coach and agent. She's with the Dark Sky Distance Group in Flagstaff. She has an incredible story. I can't even begin to describe what she has been through and what she has walked through to get to where she is now. In 2014, when she was just 17 years old, she traveled to Eugene, Oregon from Eritrea, which is her home country. She competed in the 3,000 at the 2014 World Junior Championships, and following the race, she decided to stay in the United States. She found a place to live in Leesburg, Virginia, and she ended up going to high school, running for that high school where she did very well, and she also got herself a job when she was there, learned English. She took on all of this independently at the young age of 17, and she then went on to run for the University of New Mexico, where she won the 2019 NCAA Cross-Country Championship. And I'll tell you this, the conversation isn't long enough to get the full story, but Weini has been through a lot, and she has persevered and worked so hard, and I cannot wait to read her book one day. It's going to be good. Anyway, I hope you are excited to hear this conversation. She is just such a fun spirit and soul and exciting person to have on this podcast. I've wanted to talk to her for a long time. So, big thanks to Stephen Haas and his agency for making this happen. All right, friends, please enjoy my conversation with Weini Kelati. All right, friends, I am so honored and excited to have Weini Kelati on the podcast today. Welcome to the show, Weini.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
I have wanted to have you on this podcast for a very long time. So to have you coming off this new half marathon American record is a really exciting time for me.
Oh, thank you. I don't know how I feel about it. Just trying to process it and ready for another race.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about Houston. How are you feeling? This was your own American record that you were breaking. How are you feeling coming off the race?
It feels good, going there. I was expecting a nice weather, and I can run some fast times. Just knowing I was in a good shape, and my training has been really, really good, and it's just getting better every year. And I feel pretty excited as I have done it before. I had an idea what the course looked like and what half marathon feels like. I was really excited, but the weather was like a little bit chilly. I mean, it was cold and windy. And I was like, I'm not going to let it to bother me. I'm just going to go and perform good. And that's what I did. I am very happy to run another first time and break my own record again.
Yeah, I actually just before this interview got off with Amanda Vestry, and she was saying that her hands were so cold she couldn't even get them in her pockets to open her gel pack. And then afterwards she was like, I might need medical attention. My hands hurt so bad. Were you in that much pain?
It's funny because I had hand warmers in my hands.
Okay.
And halfway I was like, I wasn't feeling good. And then also in my hands weren't that cold until I took off the hand warmers. And I was like, okay, let me take this off. And when I throw the other one, my right hand one, I was like, okay, this is getting cold. I'm just gonna keep the other one. And when I realized it was really cold was like after I take it off my gloves to throw the hand warmers, and then I can't put back my gloves on. And I was like, wow, this is like freezing. But I was kind of like okay with the cold. It's just the wind was insane. You know, I've been training in Flagstaff in the cold and windy days, but to run and in this like kind of wind for a half marathon race, I was like, wow, this is making it hard.
Yeah.
But as I said, I was just like trying to finish strong and fight to the finish as much as I could.
Yeah, tell me about that end, because you guys do this little turnaround thing and you kind of then go into the headwind. How did that feel?
Well, I was kind of like last year the wind was at 16K when I realized like when we make a turn, it was pretty windy. But this year the wind was kind of everywhere. You know, like the first 2 miles, the first 2K was like really cold and windy. I was like, okay, hopefully we're gonna have a tailwind when we go the other side. It wasn't. The wind was like everywhere. It wasn't just like one side the tailwind, one side backwind. It was just like, yeah, everywhere. You can feel it. I was like, even though in the tailwind there was like wind still, but I'm pretty happy with the race how I did, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of exciting when you run such a fast time, you break the American record, knowing that, hey, these weren't even ideal conditions.
Well, as I said, I was ready.
Oh,
So I knew I was gonna run my PR no matter what. But
no matter what.
yeah, I was just like I wasn't sure how fast I can go with this wind. As I said, I was expecting to lower my time, but by huge amount of seconds or wherever a minute. But once I see the wind and cold, I said, "Oh, I'm just gonna go out hard and run fast. I know I can run a PR, but it's not gonna be like a huge gap from last year." And just realizing how cold it was.
Okay, I want to get inside your head with your confidence, because you're like, I knew I was going to run a PR. Like you have that confidence. You know your training is there. Where does your confidence come from? Do you do any sort of mental training?
Well, I didn't know how I built that confidence, but like it started last year. So like when I get out from college, I thought I was gonna run like just like fast times, and I'm gonna make the team. I'm gonna do this. I thought it was easy, but it turned out not for me. So I just like it's from the experience I have had. Just like you thought you're ready, but you just feel short from your goals. And I know it's been really complicated, but from last year, I was like, no, I'm gonna, like, I train really hard, and I know I'm like, wherever race counts, I'm gonna perform well. It doesn't matter. I gotta focus on what can go right instead of what can go wrong, you know? That helped me just to build my confidence, also based in my training. I've been training really hard, and I feel like I have done the work, and now it's time to show what I have been doing. Not pressure. I'm just gonna go there, do however I feel during the race. If it doesn't go well, that's okay. It's another way of learning, you know. So a lot of the times it doesn't go your way, but sometimes it comes with the pressure. Like when you pressure yourself going to the race, it can go wrong as well. So I was just like, okay, I need to focus what it can go right. You know, as I mentioned, I was just like, I'm just gonna go there and have fun instead of overthinking how am I gonna race, how I'm gonna race. So that helps, I think.
Yeah, I've wondered that about you now that you've risen to such dominance in the sport, in the 10,000, in the half marathon, knowing when you step on the start line that you are the one to beat, like you are going to be a front runner, you're going to be the top American. Like, how do you relieve yourself of the pressure feeling like people know that I have the ability to be the top American out there or win the Olympic trials or whatever it is?
You know, I don't have that kind of pressure. My pressure was like, okay, how am I going to play out the race? If the race goes like the way how I don't want it, I was like, I just freaked out. That was my pressure before, but I'm never worried that, oh my goodness, I'm racing and then people are gonna look out after me. No, I mean, anyone that lines in the race have a chance to win, and they just work hard as much as I do. And I just wanted to be among the best of the best. I wanted to perform well and have a good race, and yeah.
Assuming you're doing the half championships.
Yes.
Okay. How does this race make you feel, like setting you up for success at that race?
I'm very excited. I've been wanting to do road racing for so long, but I don't want to skip the track racing to do road race. When I know I can do road race and then it's easy for me, I wanted to focus the ones not easy for me. So doing track it built my confidence in the road racing, but doing the half marathon also built a lot of confidence for me when I go back to track, because I feel like, I have done almost a double of 10K in the road race, and this is going to be just like 31, maybe under 31 minutes run, so let's do this. I don't have that, so I don't feel like, this is going to be hard, because it's 25 laps on the track. But now it's the opposite. When you do the half marathon, I just like 25 laps. It's like 31 minutes and maybe under 31 minutes. So let's do this. It's just very exciting.
Yeah, half the time of pain. The pain might be just as hard, if not harder, but it's half the time.
Yeah, I know it's hard. I mean, none of the races are easy. So the training too, but it's just knowing you can handle it makes it easier for you. You're just like, okay, this is going to be a lot faster, but a lot shorter. So I'm just going to go out and do my best,
What do you love most about running?
Wow, everything. It's hard to pick, just meeting new people, the racing, the fans, the travel. Well, I'm going to forget some of them, but everything about running.
Everything. What do you do when it gets really, really hard and you know that you have to go to the next gear, push a little bit harder mentally? How do you get yourself to do that?
I do a lot of setbacks, if it's an off season, I like to take a long break, not thinking about running, just do other things. And I really miss it after a few days, taking off. I feel like, wow, this is how it's supposed to be. If I don't really have time, I just like to take 2-3 days and get back to it again. As I said, it's just going, just a little break or taking off helps a lot for me to mentally process it and get ready for the next workout or the next run, I have a lot of this heartbreaking races when I feel like, wow, why is running so hard? But as I said, once I take off, I really miss it. I was like, if it was easy, everyone would do it. So why do I have to put myself in this position? I have to go back and work for it. I just some days you have a good day, sometimes you don't have a good day. So that's okay. And that's going to help me to learn and grow in the running world, and let's do it again. That's how I came back strong.
I want to know how that mile felt that you recently raced, because going from running half marathon, 10,000 to going and doing the mile, how did that feel? Did that burn pretty good?
It feels good. When you do the short distance, you're just I'm not tired. Why I'm getting dropped? It's kind of confusing for me.
Yeah.
But I really love it. It helped me to push myself and get that speed, which I needed for 10K. I mean, a lot of the races are really fast right now. It doesn't matter. It's going almost the same as the the 5K, 10K pace was that we are running a half marathon or marathon. So I need to get used to the speed races and to be good in track or other races, what I do. So, but the good thing is you don't have a pressure. I was just like, okay, everyone was like nervous and I was like, okay, I'm just going to do it however it goes. And then realizing how like well you can race. And I was like, okay, maybe I need to do this again.
Yeah, I mean, you placed really well. That was pretty awesome. Hey friends, are you looking for a great THC or CBD gummy? I have the perfect offer for you. Cornbread gummies. I love them so much. I usually take one in the evening around like 6 p.m. and it is such a relaxing routine with no weird side effects. The only effect I have is that I feel calm and a little zen. And what I love about Cornbread's products is they are USDA organic, proudly grown in Kentucky, so right here in the United States, and they have no harsh solvents like petrochemicals or industrial acids in them. Most hemp THC products you find will have those, and Cornbread does not. They're Farm Bill compliant and legal for adults over the age of 21. If you are looking for a healthier happy hour, look no further than these CBD and or THC gummies. I do the combo, but if THC is not your thing, you can just do the CBD. And friends of All Have Another podcast have a special offer. You can get 30% off your first order. Just visit cornbreadhemp.com/another and use the promo code another at checkout. Again, that's cornbreadhemp.com/another and use the code another for 30% off your first order. Cheers to a healthier happy hour. I had mentioned that I had talked to Amanda before this conversation, and she was saying how, like, in the 10,000, she was like, you have to be fit for a 1,500 to do well in the 10,000, because at the end of that race, like, everybody is running so fast.
That's true. I mean, a lot of, especially the championship races are like, you have to be ready. The race starts within 1,500, 2K, or a mile, sometimes within like 800. So if you're not ready enough for the speed races, it's gonna be hard, as I have like hard time in the past. So I would say you have to be ready for kind like both. You have to be strong when you go to the long distance, but at the same time you have to have the speed to have a kick at the end. So it's good to balance both.
And talk to us about the Olympics last year, placing 8th in the 10,000 at the Olympics, winning the Olympic trials. What did that experience mean to you?
Wow. It means the world to me, you know? I was just like, it was my first time making the team on the track side. And then also running at the Olympics, that was the biggest race that I've ever done in my life. And also it feels like great to be there and just like I to run with this runners that I watch on the TV, and I've seen them breaking the world records and all that kind of stuff. You feel like, wow, this is amazing. I am lining with the best. If I wasn't good enough, I won't make it this far. So let's race against them, and hopefully I will have a good day, and let's do it. That's what I did. And the race was a bit tactical, a lot of pushing each other, and a little bit frustrating with it because I was expecting it's going to be fast. But at the same time, I was like, I'm not going to let this pressure hold me back from what I can do. I'm just going to stay patient and fight to the finish. That's what I did. So I finished 8th place. I was hoping for a better result, but I was really happy just to finish 8th and make it that far.
Yeah, and in the tactical, like the shoving and whatnot, was that new to you in a 10,000?
It's crazy, you know. Like, well, it's not new because a lot of the championship races are like that. But the problem is like once every time when I watch the like world race, the world championship or the Olympics used to go out fast. And I was prepared for it. I was just like, my training was that way. I was getting ready. But at the same time, I was like, anything can happen, like you never know. But what was like annoying about the race was like someone would try to take it. It will go out really fast, and then it will slow down all of a sudden. You don't see that coming. And then another person will go out, and then it will like go fast for about 200 or 400 meters, and then it will like slow down again. And I was like, oh, what's going on? I thought I was figuring out my way how to race this kind of races, but it was kind of like a little bit challenging. I'm glad I didn't get tripped or fell down.
Yeah, I imagine like the heart rate changes too, like when everybody speeds up and then you have to like adjust and readjust and readjust. I imagine that's pretty difficult.
Yeah, it's just like, whoa. I mean, the most difficult thing was like just like to watch out people in front of you. You're just like almost like jumping onto them, and it's like, okay, wait, I'm sorry, I don't mean to push you, but it's the race that how it's going on. And then also some people are really aggressive on racing. You don't mean to tap or like spike them, but once you do that, they just look at you, just like, stay away from me. I was like, it's a race. I'm saying sorry so many times, but it's hard for me to keep it smooth. The race was messy, so yeah.
How would you describe your racing in that regard? Like, do you just try to stay out of everybody's way?
Yeah, the main goal was not to fall down or get tripped. That was like, I was like, I cannot like get tripped in the middle of the race. This is like my first experience to the Olympics. I need to finish this race. And at the same time, I was like, okay, I am strong. I know I have worked for this moment. I need to hang on and try my best.
Wow. I know you've shared your story about coming to the U.S. many times before, but I've never had you on this podcast, and I've read a lot about your story. I've listened to you on other podcasts, and I wonder if you can just share a little bit about when you came to America and what that was like, because I cannot imagine the independence, the maturity, the strength and the willpower it took for you to do what you did. And I would just love to be able to share that with my listeners.
Well, since I moved here, I thought I was like grown enough. I can do all the decisions by myself and I can handle all the things, but it's hard sometimes. People who listen to this, trust me, it's not easy. Like wherever journey that you're going, it's just gonna take like a lot from you, but you have to learn not to give up. For me, as I said, like I love my family. It was really hard to being away from them. It's just like I was trying to focus what I can do and change my life and help my family to get used to the new life, learn a new language, learn a new culture, everything at the same time. But it's hard. What I never explained that. Maybe I've talked about it or not. That people see you on the screen. They see you're doing this, you're performing well. Like, how can you do this? But they don't see behind the scenes. So I have a lot of tears. I've cried every night. And I wake up happy person in the morning. It's just the way how it is. I wanted to handle it strong, and I never shared my struggles with my family because they are gonna worry about me. Every time I talk to them on the phone, I'll talk to them once in a while, and all I would say is I'm okay, because my mom, if she heard this, she's gonna hurt, Every time she had been mentioning this, like, I know this is your choice, but it doesn't matter. Even we don't have something to eat at home. I want to be close to me. I want to you be with me, and that kind of like it's kind of sad. I just like wanted to tell her that I'm doing okay, everything is going well, not worry about me. But at the same time, to handle everything by yourself it's like really, really hard. As I mentioned, I like I've struggled a lot, but I do a lot of prayers. I know God can hear me, and I have to trust His timing, and He's gonna answer my prayers one day, and He does. I mean, every time when I have a hard time, and I don't know, He surprised me with miracles, and but I don't want to repeat it again and again about my story, because I think I've talked a lot about it just coming here, not knowing anybody, and I went to with some people that I did not know, and I get to find out my cousins are here. But also I just want to let people know that the struggle behind the cameras.
Yeah.
This is me, and I try to be strong for myself and my family and everyone who supports me and the people who are around me. I just want to make them proud, not let them down. But at the same time, when you have bad days, you feel like you let your people down, and that was like really hard to overcome. But I get used to it. Now I've figured out a way how to handle it and focus on the future and wherever it's like in my goals.
Yeah, and for people listening, were you 15? How old were you when you came here?
I was 17.
17.
Yes.
And you came to run a race, and you decided you were staying.
Yes.
Yeah, and you ended up living with some cousins that were randomly at this race.
It's very interesting because this was my story. So I was at the Hayward Field for getting ready for World Junior Championship, and I was kind of thinking to stay here and already made my decision to stay here, but I don't know how it was gonna work, because what I thought was like I was kind of like I had a different perspective from what I can imagine, I guess, because I thought I was gonna go just with anyone, and I let them know that I'm gonna stay here. But once I learned it wasn't that way. I see these people holding like Eritrean flag to support us, and I run into them. The Eritrean community is very connected. Wherever you go, you feel like a family. They support each other. Even though I don't know them, I feel like I've been knowing them the entire of my life. So I asked them, I said, hey, can I stay with you, because I make my decision to stay here? And these people were like, oh my goodness. Like, we want you to be safe. If that's your decision, you're welcome. Like, we can help you. Even you can live with us. That's okay. And I was like, oh, that feels great. I'm just going to go with them. So I left with them, and my cousin figured out that I make my decision to stay here because my family told him, oh, like, she's not coming back. Make sure that she's okay, and you need to call her. And he called me, and he said, who are you staying with? And I said, with these people. I told him who the people were, and he was like, oh my God, you cannot do that here. Please let me figure it out, someone I know, and you can go to their house. And I asked them to pick me up after my race. I went with them, and my cousin finds someone in Portland that he knows, and he asked him like if I can stay with them for about a week. I stayed with this guy with his family for about a week, and another cousin, I'm Lawson from Virginia, called me, and he said, well, like, it's a cousin of bros of us that he was calling from Texas, and he called him. So he asked me if I can stay with him because he knows about running. He was a running himself. He made a Foot Locker. He went to college with scholarship. And my cousin, the older cousin, was like hoping that he can help me to continue running, going to school, all kind of that stuff. And my cousin Amlason from Virginia called me, and he said, hey, do you want to come live with me? I can help you, and you can go to school. You're so young. I was like, oh yeah. I was really happy that I found my cousins, that I did not know them, because they left Eritrea when I wasn't born, or maybe some of them when I was 1 year old. So I don't know.
Wow.
And I went to Virginia, and he asked me to go school. I said, nope, I'm going to work, help my mom. I thought I was old enough. I said, no, I'm too old to going back to school right now. I wanted to help my mom. And he said, no, you're not. You're going to think about this when you grow up. When you're old enough, you're going to thank me later. You need to go to school. We'll have this conversation in the car, wherever he drive. I was like, no, just leave me alone. Find me a job. And he was like, you cannot find a job until like you get your asylum papers figured out. You need to go to school, and then you can find a part-time job and work. And my high school coach did the same. He was an amazing coach as well. He would talk to me. He was like, okay, you need to do this. But this was after I know him. But first, Amasom was kind of like telling me to go to school, and I said no. And then he was like, no, you need to go to school. But I got a happy news though. While I was like trying to not go, like attend school and do all kind of stuff, and he was like, you can continue running when you go to school. I felt like that was a dream come true. I wanted to continue running, because I thought my running career was ended when I decided to stay here. I didn't know how, I couldn't figure it out. I didn't know how to do it. And with that being said, and he took me to a couple high schools, and a lot of them were closed registration before I get the paper from immigration to be able to attend school. And Heritage High School was still open. And I remember he took me there, and I was like, wow, this is like so nice that I can go to school and continue running, and then also can find a job. And he talked to my high school coach, and my high school coach, he told me that he did the research a bit. He's gonna hear this interview. He just he did the research, and then when he saw me, oh my gosh, she's good. Yeah, we were like happy to have her in our team, and I joined the cross-country team. It was amazing. I made friends. So it was hard to communicate, but they still teach me, and I had a lot of fun. So that's how I be able to continue running, attend the high school, and work at the same time. So,
what was your job?
I was a cashier.
Nice. Do you remember what was the store?
It was giant. So I don't know if they have this anywhere. A lot of people thinks it's a gas station, but in Virginia, Leesburg, Virginia, there is like a food store that called Giant.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
It was amazing. So first day, I was like, you can start bagging, and then they they teach me how to this self checkout, and then a cashier. And within 3 days, I was like, oh yeah, I can do this. I learned how to do it, and they were surprised, but. My goodness, the people who works there, they're amazing. Aww. Even the boss, the managers, they will help me sometimes. Most of the time, I would say, I'll get late. They would just tell me just work 5 hours and then sign out. That's it. Even though they won't get mad of me even if I'm late, or I just call them an emergency, just oh, I have an exam, or I have a race, I'm not gonna work tomorrow. They're just they're amazing.
Oh, that's so awesome. And you had such a successful college career as well. Are you fulfilling your wildest dreams? When you think back to your childhood and the struggle of getting to where you were when you found a place to live in a foreign country, is this your wildest dream right here?
It's crazy sometimes to think about it. Just being a little girl, just dreaming to chase what I wanted to accomplish in the future, and living on it feels unreal. Even the first time when I realized was my graduation in high school. And I was sitting, literally I cried. I said, wow, this is crazy. And I'm graduating with the people who have lived their entire life here, who have support, the full support of their family, living with their family, and I'm here with them. From that moment, I learned not to give up for any reason. I said, if I did this, working, running at the same time, and going to school, and as I said, it's like a new language that I was learning too, and not getting enough sleep, going to college is going to be easy for me. I went to college, and my first goal was to get my degree, which is, thank God I did. And
what's your degree in?
Population health.
Okay.
And then minor in community health education.
Okay.
So I was going to do nursing, but it was kind of hard for me. So I changed. In my third year of college, I had to switch. Thankfully, the classes require some of them for population health too. But I would say, I know there was some challenges in college too, with running and going to classes. But I would say running in college was an easy experience for me to compare it with high school, being that young and have that pressure and never been away from my family, just getting used to all that kind of stuff was really hard in high school. But college, I'll say it was an easy transition for me. I was like ready for this life,
Hey friends, I want to tell you about Barilla Protein Plus Pasta and the Winter Energy Challenge with Strava. My family is a huge pasta family, and I was so excited about this partnership because we eat Barilla Protein Plus Pasta all the time. I'm always looking for ways to get more protein into our diets, especially some of my super picky eater kids. And you can easily increase your protein intake with 17 grams of protein per 3.5 ounce servings of Barilla Protein Plus pasta. Actually, my kids request the protein pasta. They think it tastes better. I think it tastes the same. They think it tastes better though. This is the pasta taste you love with the energy you want. And it's made with 100% plant-based protein from lentil flour, pea protein, and chickpea flour, making it a good source of fiber as well. So go grab the yellow box of Barilla pasta next time you're in the grocery store. Put your energy to the test and take on Barilla's Protein Plus Pastas Winter Energy Challenge this February on the Strava Fitness app. It's free, and all you need to do is simply complete 10 days of movement for your Barilla Protein Plus Pasta reward. Terms and conditions apply. Sign up at strava.com/Barilla. Back to the show. You run with Dark Sky and Stephen Haas and that group. How did you decide where you were going to take your professional career? You're with Under Armour. I'm sure lots of people were vetting for your attention.
Well, so my decision comes from my first visit. It's crazy because I have done this all by myself, even visiting to college. I was
Wow.
all by my own. And you know how it feels when everybody trying to tell good things about them, you just get confused and you don't know who to tell. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy, but this is my decision. Which one is going to make me happy? So going to professional was the same way. So it was so many things happening at the same time. And I was like, oh wow. So, but I have to put first what I'm looking for, what's gonna make me happy. So I take my visits. I think it was a couple professional team, and I talked to quite a lot of the companies, and I was looking for the requirement that I require, what's gonna make me happy, and then how I'm gonna continue my professional running career. And I took my visit to Flagstaff, and I had a dinner with the team. I've talked to Stephen, and I was like, okay, this is the place for me to be.
So, you were doing that without an agent?
So no. So first, it was when I said there was a lot of happening, I did not decide who I'm gonna work as an agent. And before I signed it, before I pick which company that I'm gonna join. So there was a few agents that I was getting contacted and talking with, and I was like, oh, this is hard, but first let me take my visit and talk to them in a person. and see the reality and make my decision from that. So I respect all the companies that offer me at the time, and all the agents that were trying to help me. I'm so thankful for them. I know, like, some you have to pick one company or one agent that you can work with. You can't work with everybody, but I wish if that was the case, then I would have worked with all of them, because all of them were amazing. It was just like based in everything that what I was looking for. I feel like the place, the training group, and Stephen was the person that I was looking for transition from college and chase my dream as a professional runner.
It's working out pretty well, it seems.
Oh yeah, it feels great, Imagine having the same agent and coach, and
yeah,
it's amazing, Like, what you're gonna do. He knows all the good races, how you're gonna plan out for bigger races, and I just feel like a blessing.
What does training look like? Do you train with, like, who do you train with on the team? Are you running with some of the men on the team?
Well, most of the time, we all have different training. We all have different workouts. So sometimes when it's easy days, I join them. And most of the time when my race schedule is different, I have my fiance help me to train. Most of the time I train with him. So
What is his story? And I didn't know you were engaged. Congratulations.
thank you.
What is his running story? Like, does he run pro?
Yes, he was a runner himself. We came to World Championship together from Eritrea.
Okay.
He represented Eritrea at the World Junior Championship in 2014. But he decided to stay here. Well, he came back after me. He left when I decided to stay here. Then he came back, but he did not get the chance to continue running because he was working. He doesn't have he might have a family member here. Sorry, but he doesn't know them much at the time. So he was like focusing to work. He was like working full time.
Okay. So that's cool though that he can help you train.
Yeah, he's very talented. So he raised some time and he helped me a lot. So even when he took off, his fitness is always there. So.
Oh, that's so good. How often do you get to be in contact with your family in Eritrea? Well,
now I call them once a week, every Sundays. But before it was like once in 3 months, once in 2 months. No face call though, even now. It was just like, it's a phone call where you have to download the app and put money, and you gotta talk to them until you run out from money. It'll go out like really quick, and I was like, oh my god, I didn't even ask like how they're doing. It was just like really hard. But right now I talk to them once a week.
And what does mom think of all your success in life right now?
Well, I'm pretty sure she's very proud. But what's funny is like she doesn't know much about running. She doesn't. Well, she just like she gets really happy when people congratulate her, and she see me running. But at the same time, she goes like, I don't want to watch you running because. So like when I have the tired face and seeing like how much I struggle on the race, she's just like, no, this cannot happen. She was like, when are you gonna stop running? It's so funny. I said, well, I'm trying to get better and like I don't know, continue running. But she goes like, okay, you seem really tired when I saw you in the video. What, like, when are you gonna stop running? It's so funny. And she just like care more about like getting married and have children and all that kind of stuff. I was like, Mom, I have a lot of things to do before I did this, so stay patient. It's so funny. But
how many siblings do you have?
I have 2 younger ones. Yeah.
And do they live back home?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, well, I mean, yeah, that's pretty funny that your mom thinks that. Do you think she realizes like how big of a deal you are? Like how like the Olympics and everything. Does she wrap her head around that?
She's really happy. It's funny because we're best friends. She would
Oh, I
tell
love
me like,
that.
you know, wherever you choose to do, it's not gonna go wrong. I trust you. Like wherever you do, it means good, even though
Yeah.
she doesn't understand. And people keep telling her, they will bring her like a short videos from like Instagram or wherever resource that they find, and she felt like really proud, but at the same time she was like, okay, she thinks that like just like stop running and do other things are more important to her than like being in the running world, but that's okay because she doesn't understand. So hopefully I will bring her and she get me to watch in a person.
Oh, yeah. That would be so cool. Well, you obviously know this, that our other beloved runner here in the United States from Eritrea is Meb. And I wonder if you've connected with him at all since being in the States.
Wow. Yeah, he was an amazing runner. By the way, I watched him when I was so young. I don't know if I started running at the time or not. So I don't think I have started running, but they'll bring him in the national TV, which is called Area TV.
Okay.
And when there is like a sport news is happening, I will watch him like on the TV. I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I met him in Foot Locker Nationals, at the Foot Locker Nationals. It was just like a joy to meet him and his family. And since then, we haven't connected to each other for a very long. It was like in 2022 or 2021 when I did the 5K New York US Championship. I met him again. It was great to talk to him, but Merhawi, his brother, as an agent,
Yes.
he is an amazing. Even when I was in college, he was the one that really supports me with everything, and he will make sure that I'm making the right decision. Even though he's an agent himself, he was like, "Yeah, it's your decision," but he was helping me. So, and then also after this is like I met Meb 3 times actually in Boston too. He was in Boston, and I got to talk to him a little bit, and yeah, we have a connection, but not really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it though. Yeah, like such a small country though, and two of these phenomenal runners, you and Meb from Eritrea, running for the United States. Like you're that person on the TVs now. Do you know what I mean? Like you said, Meb was on the TVs back at home, and it's like that's you now.
It's crazy. I don't feel that way, but sometimes I realize how far I have come, and just
Yeah.
watching myself on the TV was like, wow,
Yeah.
this is a dream come true. This is what I dreamed since I was so little. I would watch every runners competing at the Olympics and just wishing to be a part of them, and now just to be there with them and just feels like wow.
Wow. Okay, so I'm sure everybody's asking you, when are you doing the marathon?
Well, I'm thinking about it, but we'll see when we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that I run a good half marathon, which is I'm still happy about my half marathon result, but I want to lower my time. I want to get used to it. Once I feel like, oh yeah, it's easy right now, and then I'm gonna move up. But stay tuned, I'm gonna move up as soon.
Okay.
So yeah, we're gonna let you know when.
We'll be so excited for that debut. And I have to ask you, because you have excelled in all three, if you had to pick one, cross country, roads, or track, what's your favorite?
That's really hard. My goodness. I thought you were gonna ask me which one is my favorite distance. I was gonna pick one, but it's crazy. Well, I love all of them.
Oh.
It's hard to pick for me.
What makes your heart the most excited when you're at the starting line?
You know, definitely it's gonna be between two. I know I've been
Okay.
doing cross country for very long. I love cross country, but I love track and road racing. It's
Okay.
something about the fans.
Oh, the
Like
fans. Yeah.
a track is like, it's just like everything is a vibe. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
something magic about the track. But also the road racing, I feel like it's been my favorite. I just
Okay.
love it. The way how the race like started and then how going out. I don't know. I just love racing. Like I love road racing.
Oh, it's good. Okay, we're going to wrap up with end of podcast questions here. But I do want to ask you, what do you do for fun outside of running?
Wow, a lot of things. It's funny because people might think, "Oh, this is not fun. Why she's keeping herself busy?" But I'm not the person who likes to sit and watch TV for a very long. No, not me. So So when I clean, I have more fun. When I cook, it's my favorite thing. And I also love going outside.
Okay.
Yeah, I love nature. I just like to go out there, whether it's walk, sitting there, just like explore new adventures. Yeah. And also, I like to learn a new language. And yeah, that's my favorite thing. If I feel like I wanted to put myself in a schedule or feel really happy, just learn a new language. That's what I do.
Wait, okay. So what's the language spoken in Eritrea?
Tigrinya.
Okay, so
We have 9 different languages and 9 tribes.
wow. That's the language from your tribe.
Yes. Well, like we have 9 tribes and 9 languages, but Tigrinya is the language from my tribe, and then there's the language that I speak.
Okay. Do you speak any other languages other than English then?
Well, I speak a little bit Arabic and French.
Okay.
So this is the 2 languages that I really focus on when I don't have anything to do like outside of running, and I was like, okay, let me learn. But Arabic, I can listen and speak a little bit, but it's hard for me to read and write. And
Okay.
French, I can read, write, speak a little bit, and then listen a little bit.
So both of them,
I'm learning. So
both of them though, like you could go to a country speaking that language and like hold a fluid conversation.
yeah, if I had to stay for a month, then I would be perfect.
That's like quadringle. What is that? You speak 4 languages. What do you call it?
Well, therefore, 2 fluently, and then 2 of them are still learning.
Okay. You'll be fluent though.
Hopefully, because it's hard sometimes when people can understand English. Even when they talk to me in French, I will respond in English.
Okay.
Same thing with Arabic. If they talk to me in Arabic, I respond either in English. If I know that they speak Tigrinya, then I respond in Tigrinya. So.
But how did you choose those 2 languages to learn?
I don't know. It was just like, learning French started when I was back home. So I went to France to get a standard for youth championship. And when I went there, I had a hard time because when I asked for directions, we would not communicate at all. People speak French, even though they know English. Sorry. Some of them, they would say they did not speak English. I say, but you understand what I'm saying. Why can't you help me? So I decided to go back home and learn French. So I took the first level. And from that, I stopped because I moved to the United States. And then in college, when they asked me I need to do a foreign language to graduate, then I did French.
Okay.
But for Arabic, because it's second spoken language in Eritrea, it's our second language. So, yeah.
Okay.
Similar to Tigrinya too.
Wow, that is so cool. So cool. Okay, here's our end of podcast. What is something professionally or personally you would like to do in your life that you have not done yet?
Wow. Professionally, I would like to get a medal at world stage.
Yeah.
And personally, a lot of things to do, but I don't know if I have something to say on the public. I like to keep it in myself. It's personally, but yeah, professionally, as I said, I wanted to get medal, whether it's in road racing And the track, it doesn't matter. I wanted to get a medal. That's it.
Do you think you'll write a book someday?
Yeah, that's my dream. Like, hopefully one day.
You will.
Yeah, I'll be able to share the story.
Yeah.
That I did not share. And a public I wanted to have in my books that people can learn, get inspired, get hope from it.
Mm-hmm. You had mentioned your faith earlier. What faith do you practice?
I'm an Orthodox Christian.
Okay, very cool. The last question I always ask my guests on the podcast is, what is your last message to leave with our audience today?
Well, keep working hard, keep chasing your dream. Don't give up. As always, this is like I always mention, not to give up, because if I can do it, why can't you? Mm-hmm. It's just like, this is a message that I wanted to share. And well, the power of positive thinking. That's the book that I'm reading.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, and then keep think positive. That helps a lot.
Wow. Well, you are beautiful inside and out, and I'm so honored that you've given me this opportunity to talk to you, and it is seriously going to make me that much more excited to watch you race in the coming races. So thank you for what you give the running community.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Well, I love the running community. Thank you for supporting me. I know it's hard to catch up with the social media, running, and all that kind of stuff. But, I know that you're supporting me, and I love you all.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thanks for being here, friends. I hope you enjoyed that conversation. I hope you're already following Weini on social media, but, if you aren't, go give her a follow, Weini_Kelati. Let her know what you thought of this conversation. You can find me. I'm Lindsay Hine 626 on Instagram. I'm on Blue Sky now, Lindsay Hine. I haven't done much over there, but I anticipate I will and should start treating it like Twitter, I guess, or X or whatever. You can find more about this podcast and all the shows in our network at sandyboyproductions.com. You can also find more information about what I'm doing over at lindsayhine.com. Thank you for being here. Hopefully I'll see you at an event this spring. We will see you next time on I'll Have Another with Lindsay Hine Podcast.